John Sansbury, the state champion Olentangy Liberty Patriots in Division One, joining us here with Storied Rivals. Appreciate your time, Coach, as always, man. And the off season after a state championship, does it feel different compared to any other off season you've been a part of?
No, well, thanks for having me on here, but it feels the same. I mean, the first meeting we had was that team is gone, right? That team will never be together ever again, and that was last year, and now we have to start all over this year. And so it's as a coach, it's kind of fun because kind of figure out where guys need to be, what we need from people. You see kids grow, gets faster, stronger, bigger, mature, become really into football, from sophomore to junior, or junior to senior year. And so all that part's fun. But yeah, we're done. We celebrated for a long time, it seemed like, but that's over. So I know our community wants to keep celebrating it, which is great. But I think me and some of the coaches were ready, January 1st. How about that? January 1st, we were ready to already start planning and getting ready for next year.
Yeah, that's fair. And through the handful of times that we've gotten a chance to like sit down and talk, you strike me as the kind of guy that doesn't get too high and you don't really get too low. Like you're just pretty, just even keel pretty much all the time. But like, when did it truly sink in? Like, if you take me back to that moment when you guys won the state championship, when did it truly sink in that you guys were state champions?
I don't think until we were taking a knee. Um,
Yeah,
and I don't even know if it sank in, but I realized, oh my gosh, we're going to win here because we played very well that game, but still, like we had to get a couple big first downs at the end to be like, all right, we're good now because obviously they had an explosive offense. They could score on
right.
kick, and we've had games where that kind of stuff has happened. But I don't think it's really going to hit in for me personally as a coach until 20 years from now, probably where
Sure.
I'm where I kind of can sit back and look at kind of what this team was able to do.
And
And
and actually like properly reflect.
right, right, and I'm kind of a naive person, anyways, and coach. Where sometimes I don't really, yeah, I was like that as an athlete too, where I don't really realize certain things, and that's good and bad. But no, it was a historic year for us. It was a lot of fun, and I'm just excited now for this new group of seniors and their leadership and this new team. It'll be fun, but they obviously our guys know that there's no sneaking up on people this year, so we have to be ready for every single game, like we always are, but especially this year.
Yeah, especially now being the hunted instead of the hunters. That real just one more note on that Final Four run because those last two games against St. Edward and against Moeller in the championship, I think a lot of people maybe would have thought Liberty were underdogs in those games just given the previous past success of both of those programs. And they're obviously juggernauts, and you know that. But did it ever feel that way, like when you were playing those games, that you guys were underdogs, or did you just? I mean, did you feel like you were right there with them, throughout?
It didn't feel like it during the games. I mean, we played exceptionally well the last 3 weeks of our season. I'm sure some of our guys were thinking it, or people were telling them that sort of thing, but we really didn't spend a whole lot of time talking about any of our opponents this year, other than just the game plan. Who do we need
Hmm.
to focus on and stop? And um, I don't think our guys didn't need extra motivation. Our 31 seniors are pretty motivated and focused, and so we just try to keep. We're working with teenagers, so keep them focused on what's important, and that's us and what we're doing and what we need to do to be successful. And then they did an outstanding job of making it happen, of putting the plan into action, and also, I mean, these players made unbelievable plays. We didn't plan out some of these plays where Andrew Leonard scrambling and finding Christian Moulton wide open. Like that's not a play we designed. That's a play that those
Hmm.
two made happen, and so um, and they did it all year, and that's why we were successful. So I think our players had success in a lot of different sports, and they'd been successful their whole career. Their junior year didn't go very well. It was a frustrating year, but they had always been successful. So I think they kind of expected it, and I don't think they were afraid or felt like necessarily underdogs, unless it was like a chip on their shoulder kind of thing. But we didn't really address it or talk about it much.
how do you manage? I guess when you win you talked about 2023 was kind of a rougher season. Then you win the state championship, and when you win, obviously there comes expectations. How do you manage that, and I guess communicate those expectations and work with your new team when you go into an off season after winning a title?
Well, we just kind of keep trying to focus on things we can control. Um, how hard we work, getting better, focus on getting better, being the best team that we can be. That's the message I give them. Whether we're 4-8 or 14-2, every single day, try to consistently message that. And I won't be able to fully tell you that answer until about a year from now, once we go
That's
through
fair.
this year. But um, that's what we're just trying to focus on, right? What do we can we completely control? Let's not waste any time thinking about other things or what other people think we should do, or you know how many wins or this or that or repeating or anything like that. We don't even talk about that. So because it's a
Yeah,
waste of time, right? And all it's going to do is put pressure on us, which won't help us, you know, get better. And that's what we're focused on all summer and in the off season and the winter is just getting stronger every day, getting faster, becoming a closer team. And we're going to start next Monday. And that's the first thing I'm going to say is let's just focus on being the best team we can be. Keep our eyes on that. Try and keep blinders up with everything else because this is a different team, right? It's the same program, but it's a different team with different players. It's a different kind of chemistry, and we're still kind of working through that. And we have different staff. We had some turnover in staff and different coaches, so there's kind of a lot of things going on, which makes it fun and exciting. But also, kind of we're not sure. So we're gonna
right.
see. We'll find out.
Graduating 31 seniors, I mean, in Division One, it's probably not all that uncommon because the programs are much bigger, and you probably have, a lot of schools probably have 100 plus kids on their roster. But when you graduate 31 kids, and then, like you mentioned, you've had some coach turnover and things on your staff. How difficult is that to manage when you have a new group of seniors who now have to step into these leadership roles? Obviously, you're trying to figure out competition, for starting positions as you go through camp and scrimmages and things. And then, of course, you've got new coaches that have to kind of work into your system, and maybe you adjust your system to accommodate for some of that turnover. I mean, how difficult is it to manage all of that when you lose 31 kids? A lot of them were great football players, new coaches, and everything.
Yeah, it's been a challenge, a good challenge. But we moved up a few coaches from lower levels, so they've kind of been in the system, and brought in a coach that is familiar with some of our staff members because he's coached with them somewhere else. So um, the staff thing's been great. I mean, these guys have fit right in. We try to keep things simple here for a lot of reasons, but that's one of them, right? So coaches understand exactly what we want, try to be clear with what expectations are and what we want it to look like. And the summer kind of gives us an opportunity to work through some of these things with a smaller group of kids because we never have every player here on any particular summer workout day. So that helps. So it's not just all in one, right? It's kind of a gradual process. And the same thing with the players. We've had all this off season from really December, 8th on to start developing the leadership of the incoming seniors and even the juniors. Because we do have a small senior group. We only have 14, but a lot of these
Mm,
guys will be 3-year starters. So they've been through it. And so we have high expectations for them and their leadership and their play, and they want that. And they're excited for that. And it's just going to give opportunities for younger guys too, because it's a small group. And we understand that. So the kid part, I mean, sad to see the 31 go, but we've been doing this for a long time, and that's the way it works. And but it gives opportunities for other guys. And like I said, I think the first question, it's fun to see who kind of steps up, who now
mhm.
okay, they are obsessed and all in with football now. Something has clicked with them, and get to see them grow. And the summer doesn't tell you a whole lot. There's no contact. It's not real football, right? 7-on-7 is not real.
Sure.
But you get to see some things, but we'll have a lot more answers about a week from now when we start, well, I guess August 1st, when we start hitting for the first time. A lot of questions will be answered then. So we have a lot of questions. We're excited too, just to kind of see. We don't know. There's a lot of things we don't know, and we're excited to see. We have some guesses, but you just never know who's going to step up and who's not until we actually start hitting and getting hit, that sort of thing.
Yeah, it'd be great if you could keep them forever, right? I mean,
Right.
um, yeah. Now, what's coming up over the next month or so? Once contact starts and you can scrimmage with teams and things, and it's not just the 7-on-7 passing and airing it out. When you can actually truly, you know, lay the wood and crack some pads. I mean, what's on the schedule?
So we'll start kind of our preseason. We say 2 a days. They're not 2 a days. We stopped doing 2 a days when COVID hit, and we've just kind of stayed
Hmm.
with this. So we just have kind of one practice with meetings before and after. But kind of at the end of each week, we have something. So you'll have an inter squad scrimmage next Saturday. August 2nd Saturday, which we'll film and evaluate. Then the following Saturday, we scrimmage Big Walnut, which we've been scrimmaging them for years now, and that's a great scrimmage for us. Um, Me and Coach Krager kind of both took over each program the same year, so that's kind of cool. And they had a great year last year, going to the Final Four, and that'll be a great test for us because
Hmm.
I think they have everybody back, and so we're kind of in different situations. But that'll be a great scrimmage for us. And then the following week on Friday will be our game scrimmage against Delaware with Coach Montgomery. Me and him played together here at Liberty High School, so that's fun as well. And they got some good players as well. So those 3 weeks are going to be a lot of evaluating process, competition. Obviously, we're trying to figure out who's going to play. We like playing a lot of guys, anyways. If guys are close, everybody wants to play, and we want to play guys, and that's just going to build depth, experience, competition, keep us healthy. So there's a lot of things that we kind of started doing last year with trying to play more guys, and we have a lot of guys, and so that's kind of what we're trying to build and kind of set up for week one against. We have a big first week game with Olentangy. They have a lot of guys back and a lot of big time
Hmm.
players. So I know our kids will be fired up and excited, and I'm sure they will be too. So, and yeah, so it's going to be here before you know it. We got a lot to figure out by then, but that's kind of the schedule we have for the next month.
You mentioned you don't do 2 days anymore. Is that a common thing now? Like since COVID, has come and gone. Like, do other have you noticed that other schools maybe don't do 2 days anymore? I guess what's the kind of the coaching philosophy now that you've seen around you?
I don't know a whole lot of what, obviously some of the coaches I talk to, we talk a little bit. I think everybody's a little different. I know when I first started coaching 17 years ago, everybody was 2 a days. That was just
Sure, right.
some guys 3 a days when they went to camps. I think COVID kind of made some guys change a little bit. Maybe less is more. Us having so many kids, a lot of our guys just play one side. So we have a little bit more of a luxury to do that. We have still a lot of guys and our young guys doing both sides. They just switch daily, but we've used more of we do more meeting time than we've ever done. We have access to different rooms and projectors, and we can put a lot of film on and create lists on Huddle. It's just where kids can watch it at home, while they're laying down and eating or something. So there's just a lot more you can do technology wise. Um, and I found 2 a days wears coaches down.
Hmm.
You're out there for 2.5 hour practices, and our second practice it seemed like we were just yelling at kids who were just dragging anyways. And so
Sure.
maybe that's just us, but that's kind of where COVID we couldn't do anyways because we couldn't get in the locker room. Um, and we just never went back. And that was with Coach Hale, with his design, and we seem to like it, and I think it keeps us a little bit more fresh. Maybe towards the end of the year, we don't go too crazy in the summer either. We use our 18 days, but sometimes our practices are after we lift for 45 minutes, and the idea is just I got a family, I got young kids at home, and my wife, and in season is tough. So we want the summer to be a little easier. And then same with our kids. We got so many kids that play lacrosse, baseball, wrestle, basketball. We're trying to make it so they can come to our stuff and not miss too much and still go to their other things. And same with our coaches. I don't want our coaches being worn out by the time we play Old Angie. We want to be feeling good. So we still
Hmm.
put a lot of time in. It's still a lot of work. It's still hard. It's going to be the hardest 3 weeks of these kids' lives. at least up to this point. But we're just trying to be smart with it as well. And everything's, we switch a little bit every year. We're experimenting because we don't know exactly how it's going to look, but that's kind of where we're at now.
And I've noticed a lot of your best players on your football team, they're all multi-sport athletes and they're successful across multiple sports. And I know like Andrew and Jake played multiple sports. Jake's going to play lacrosse at Ohio State, and Andrew's playing football at I think it's at Findlay this coming year. So I know your school is just full of athletes, and those two are maybe they're two of the best athletes that will ever go through Liberty High School. But I guess who steps in to replace those guys this year? And I know you've got a plethora of talent, but guys as good as those two who were Mr. Football finalists and have all these records and all these accolades. I think curious questions are just people who love football. They want to know who's going to replace Andrew Leonard and who's going to replace Jake Struck and some of these other positions on the offense and defense too.
Yeah, it's we're asking the same questions. So I'll be able to tell you in a month. We've got a lot of competition in a lot of spots. So we
Hmm.
don't have another. There is no Jake Struck, and Andrew Leonard's Andrew Leonard. Those two are unique, and all of our players are right. There's no necessarily replacing them. It's going to be a group effort, and it's the coach's staff's job to kind of figure out who our playmakers are going to be, and then get them in positions to make plays, and then ultimately it's up to them to do that. So I'm sure we'll have hopefully some good surprises. Last year, we knew Jake and Andrew were good football players. I don't think I would have predicted they would have those type of numbers necessarily. Same with
Hmm.
Christian Moulton, right? Christian Moulton had a record break
Exactly.
for us. Another basketball track guy as well. At this point last year, I wouldn't have told you, hey, oh yeah, Christian's going to have 1,300 yards receiving and this amount of touchdowns. I wouldn't have been able to tell you that, but um, they stepped up when we needed them to, and we're hoping that this year's seniors and some juniors and maybe some sophomores will do the same thing as a collective group. So I don't have any names for you right now.
It's
Like I said,
fair.
we start hitting and putting the pads on. We'll start to have some ideas, but I know we have some good athletes and we have some guys that love football and play really hard and can make plays coming up, and especially in that senior class, guys returning guys, like Ben Godwin and Antonio Kish and Luke Mulder, guys like that in the skill positions. And then we'll be relying on some senior linebackers with Hudson Dorson and Carter Kuhn. Those guys played a lot last year, and on the line with Brody Chapman and Liam Hayward. So we have a lot of seniors with a lot of experience coming back. And we got some seniors that don't have as much experience, but I think could potentially have pretty good years this year. So we're excited to see what they're going to do. We're going to need them, right? When there's 14 seniors, there's no hiding. Everybody has to lead, and that's the message I've been telling them for 6 months now.
Yeah, Christian, heck of a football player. Didn't mean to leave him out. And Kish had an unbelievable playoff run. I mean, he was making so many plays defensively. I think the game against Pick North? He had two picks, and I mean, he was just all over the field.
Yeah, yeah. He was defensive back, kickoff returner, played some running back for us. So we're kind of we like what we see from him, and we just need to see more leadership from him this year now as a senior, which he wants to do and he's going to do. And we got to figure out a way to get the ball in his hands and let him make plays. So yeah, we have a lot of good players. We just got to put them in the right spots and figure out how to get the best guys on the field at the same time. And so that's why we coach.
Yeah. How cool is it? And like, I guess what's the sense of pride you feel you get to do this at the school that you played for? It's your alma mater.
Yeah, it's a dream job. It's what I told them. When I was interviewing for the job and when I got the job, I repeated that several times. I live a mile away from here. I can walk to school. My kids can ride their bikes here. This is where we want to be. I love being here. It's where I graduated. It's a great community. I grew up here and had a great childhood and high school and athletic experience. And I've been here for now. This will be my 17th year. And if they'll have me, I want to be here until I want to hang it up. But obviously, we got a lot of work to do to make sure that happens. And but yeah, it's a dream job. And I'm coaching here with a great staff. A lot of guys that have graduated here, my brother included. So we have a lot of alumni in the staff and guys that have been here a long time and want to be here. So it's yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
You brought the program its first state championship, so I'd like to think they'll keep you around for at least a couple more years.
Yeah, we'll see. We got high expectations here, but that's what we like. That's what we like about this place. So expectations are high, and kids and adults kind of raise their standards up because of that. So it's a good thing.
It's good stuff, man. Well, Coach, thanks so much for hopping on today, man. It's good to catch up with you and talk some football for 20 plus minutes here. Always appreciate it, and best of luck as you go on a quest to defend your Division One state championship, man.
Well, thanks a lot. Appreciate what you guys do for high school football, and spreading it around and making it even more fun for these kids. So they love what you guys do, and we appreciate you.